Gopijana Giridharadhari Gopijana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Janarandana Yashoda Nandana Braja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Bodhanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudhirayet Nashta Prayesva Bhadresu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki कृष्णे स्वधामुपगते धर्मज्ञानाद्भिः सह कलो नष्टधिशामेश पुराणार्को विनोनितः. Hare Krishna. We're reading from Śrimad Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, entitled The Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 3, Text 18. Naitadrishanam svajana vyapekshaya Naitadrishanam svajana vyapekshaya Grihan pratiyad anavastitatmana Yebhyagatan vakradhiyabhichakshate Yebhyagatan vakradhiyabhichakshate Aropita bhrubhiramarshanakshibi Aropita bhrubhiramarshanakshibi Naitadrishanam svajana vyapekshaya Grihan pratiyad anavastitatmanam Yebhyagatan vakradhiyabhichakshate Aropita bhrubhiramarshanakshibihi. Please repeat. Naitadrishanam svajana vyapekshaya Grihan pratiyad anavastitatmanam Yebhyagatan vakradhyabhichakshate Aropita bhrubhiramarshanakshibi Naitadrishanam svajana vyapekshaya Yebhyagatan vakradhyabhichakshate Yebhyagatan vakradhyabhichakshate Pita bhrubhiramarshanakshivi Naitadrishanam svajana vyapekshaya Grihan pratiyad anavastitatmanam Aropita bhrubhiramarshanakshivi. Ladies, na, not. Etadrishanam, like this. Svajana, kinsman. Yapekshaya, depending on that. Grihan, in the house of. Pratiyat, one should go. Anavastita, disturbed. Atmanam, mind. Ye, those. Abhyagatan, guests. Vakradhya, with a cold reception. Abhichakshate, looking at. Aropita bhrubihi, with raised eyebrows. Amarshana, angry. Akshibihi, with eyes. Translation: one should not go to anyone's house even on the consideration of his being a relative or a friend. When the man is disturbed in his mind and looks upon the guest with raised eyebrows and angry eyes. Please repeat after me. One should not go to anyone's house even on the consideration of his being a relative or a friend. When the man is disturbed in his mind and looks upon the guest with raised eyebrows and angry eyes. Purport: by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. However low a person may be, he is never unkind to his children, wife, and nearest kin. Even a tiger is kind to its cubs, for within the animal kingdom, the cubs are treated very nicely. Since Sati was the daughter of Daksha, however cruel and contaminated he might be, naturally it was expected that he would receive her very nicely. But here it is indicated by the word anavastitaha that such a person cannot be trusted. Tigers are very kind to their cubs, but it is also known that sometimes they eat them. Malicious persons should not be trusted because they are always unsteady. Thus, Sati was advised not to go to her father's house because to accept such a father as a relative and to go to his house without being properly invited was not suitable. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kantha Radha Kantha Namosute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam, pangum langayate girim, yatkripatamaham bande, Sri Guru Dinatarinam, Paramananda Madhavam, Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. So, Hare Krishna. Thank you for all attending today's Śrimad Bhāgavatam class. I would like to first seek the blessings of all the senior devotees, that I can speak something that is according to our previous acharyas and something that may be in useful and something in the right mood and spirit. So we're looking at this long but amazing section of Sati and Lord Shiva, and now Sati has made her uh, desires very clear on what they want to, what she wants to do. She wants to go to the, it's like she wants to go to the sacrifice. It's like she wants to go to the soiree. She wants to get dressed up, and she wants to put on nice things and go be with her family members. Very reasonable request, if I may say so. Soiree. Look, add that to your lexicon. So, but Lord Shiva is in this section. He's responding that it may not be the best decision for her to go because Lord Shiva will not be respected based on their previous interaction. What was the previous interaction? Daksha walked in. Everybody stood up except two people: Lord Shiva and Brahma. Lord Brahma didn't stand up because he's everybody's father and grandfather, so he didn't have to stand up. But Lord Shiva is also on that level. He's one of the he's a Purusha avatar. He's an incarnation of the Lord, but he was uh, he felt very disrespected, Daksha, and he said all sorts of unkind words, and there was cursing and counter cursing. So, and we're coming to this verse where actually the Wi-Fi just dropped out on me, so I'm just gonna rely on a good old book. Can't can't go wrong with paper, can you? What's the verse? 18, right? 4, 3. Yes. So this verse actually speaks about the about kind of guests and when you should come and when we should go, and it's saying that even if a person is a relative, a family member, if they're in an agitated state, one should not go to their house. So, and Srila Prabhupada is giving a very graphic example in the purport. Is even he's giving the example of a tiger. A tiger is very close, very nice to the cubs, but immediately, and I looked this up, and this is a thing called infanticide. Infanticide, which is the act of an animal killing its own babies, which it happens actually in various species. Among love between two species, there's actually this kind of killing of each other. And I think the most in America, the one we learn more about is the praying mantis. Has anybody heard of the praying mantis? It looks like it's praying, so it's not outside the realm of the religious institution. So the praying mantis looks like it's praying, and after it mates with with the female, It has to pray. The female has to feed itself. There has to feed so the babies can grow. So what does the male do? The male sacrifice. It's very saying. It's very telling for the Daksha sacrifice. Actually, the female eats the male's head, and the male sacrifices itself for the female's sustenance. So very similar to Daksha. Actually, Daksha's head got also chopped off. So the praying mantis. So infanticide happens because um, mainly two reasons. One is if they're pack animals, it makes the pack stronger. So like if it's a pack of wolves, and if one wolf, the baby wolf has his leg broken, then you have to discard of it. But more often than not, it happens because of sexual desires among animals, and this is something that we'll be delving into. And the most common example is monkeys. There's the Hanuman monkeys in India, not the ones in Vrindavan, but the ones with the black face and the long tail. You might see them in Mayapur very rarely. They're known, very common to, the males are known to kill uh, the children of a potential mate. So if there's a male and a female, and the female already has a child with another monkey, the male is known to push the baby off a building and kill it, because once you have no baby, you must reproduce again. Oh, why not just reproduce with me? Any story in the Bhagavatam that you think relates to that? Chitraketu. Chitraketu, the wives of Chitraketu did the same thing. That the baby was there, and they're not taking care of me. Let me kill this. Let me administer poison onto the male baby of Chitraketu, and then the Chitraketu will take care of me as well. So this is the common example among animals of killing their own children. Now this is even coming up to the level of humans as well. That once someone gets pregnant or something, if the baby is of inconvenience, or if or in some circumstances, if of inconvenience, now the science, Srila Prabhupada would say, science has developed so much that you have the option to even not have that baby through various scientific processes. So even unkindness in the family is increasing. So like now we have so many there's shelters for women and children all around the world, where they can go when their partner, there's domestic violence cases. This used to be actually practically unheard of, and I looked up a statistic for this class. 29% of murders in America happen between friends and family. 29% of murders in America happen between friends and family. Well, former friends and family. So this is coming to the point that Daksha is saying, that Lord Shiva is saying, just because they're family members, or just because they're friends, just because you know them, does not mean that they're fit to be received. And this is coming into the larger discussion that that not necessarily this, that conditioned living entities are not to be trusted. They can. It's not. It's very foolhardy to put your complete trust in them. As someone, as we see in Daksha, if you have a small disturbance in Daksha's mind, what is this disturbance that Lord Shiva caused? He didn't stand up. He did not stand up, and all of this has started. Cursing, counter cursing. It's taking up how many sections of the this is taking up like 6 sections of the 7 chapters of the Bhagavatam, just from him not standing up. Shukadeva Goswami considers it that important, to elaborate for 7 chapters of the Bhagavatam just on this pastime Of course, this is the it's talking about the creation of the fourth order. So you will hear about all the sons. So after this, after this pastime, do you know who comes? Dhruva Maharaj, who is the son of son of Maharaj Uttanapad. So conditioned living entities cannot be trusted. So because as something flips, it's not pleasurable for me, I'll stop. The Praman that I'm speaking from is Canto 5, Chapter 18. Very famous verse, Srila Prabhupada used to quote a lot. Yasya sthir bhaktir bhagavati yakinchana sarvai gunastatra samasute sura harava bhaktasya kuto mahadgunad manoratena sati dhavato bahi. So the understanding is that the good qualities this is a very it's a verse that we don't usually bring up in the Tuesday program or like New People program. But it's making a statement here that, on the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. This is the claim that this verse is making. So, how can we say that there is no good qualities among people who are not devotees? I want to open it up. How dare we say this? Are there not good qualities? Yes, that's a bar. So you're saying it's a question of motivation. By if the motivation isn't there, they're willing to change. Now, anybody else have anything? Yes, Subhadra Prabhu? Mm. And the COVID thing, just grabbing all the toilet paper, My father went to Costco like when COVID was starting. He just remembers like people were taking 2 carts, 3 carts of toilet paper. There's. And then he's like, why did they even use toilet paper? There's a fire. So, a good point. We're going to speak about crisis in a few seconds. Vasily, you had something circumstantial. So I would, yeah, Shigo Baba Prabhu. Okay. Hmm. Hmm. So without good qualities, if you just have all good qualities, it's like collecting zeros. But if you don't have bhakti towards Krishna, and that it's all just zeros. It's all gone at the end of the day. Hmm. Hmm. That's a good point. Now, yes, Krishna Prabhu. Hmm. More darkness. What to speak of next week, the next moment. Now, I will make a challenge in one way. It's that, okay, non-devotees, it says not good they are not seeming to have any good qualities. But how much more is the standard of a Vaishnava or an aspiring Vaishnava to say that um, whatever standard that we have said, because the modes are changing, this and that. So I believe this is Rishabh Dev speaking, 518. It may be Rishabh Dev speaking. So he's saying non-devotees have good. So Vaishnavas have all good qualities that are not tested by time, place, circumstance. They're just always on this level of complete good qualities. Is that a rightful claim to make? Does that make sense? My reasoning? My I'm saying that the verse is saying, on the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities have no good qualities. So I'm saying if somebody who is engaged in devotional service and engaged in spiritual works always have good qualities. Is that's a pretty high standard. I remember I was talking to His Grace Vishnu Gada Prabhu, and I was telling him, that we have this Bhakta program going, and I told him, what did you do? Because he was helping. He saw the Bhakta program in 55th Street. He said the first thing that we'd make them do, the new Bhaktas, is memorize the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. The 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. I believe His Holiness Satsvarup Maharaj has a book on the 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. That he's poetic, he's grave, he's humble, he's and so many things. And I believe that these 26 qualities, everything is second. Like back to Sri Gopal Pran Prabhu's point, everything is second. These all the 20. There's 25 qualities that are secondary, and the primary quality is that he's serving Krishna. He's eternally a servant of Krishna. So this is what we mean that non-devotees have no good qualities. It's that when it'll come, yeah. It also has, you have to be vigilant and be serious about practicing devotional service. I heard just recently there was a Govardhan retreats in Sachidananda Maharaj, and he's saying that often what happens, saying in regards to the holy name, but you can say with this as well, is that when you're chanting the holy name, what happens is you're Shravanadi Jal, you're watering the plant of bhakti. But he said what may be happening if we're not vigilant about our devotional service is you may be watering the plant of devotional service, but it may be looking like like Bhakti Lata Beach, but you may be watering the weed of bhakti. So no, then you may go on year and year after bhakti. I'm advancing, but you're actually watering the right plant. I believe it's like one devotee went to a temple and it's like, oh, we have a beautiful tulsi, and then they looked at it. This isn't tulsi. This is something else. And then they looked at it, and a fruit started coming out of the tulsi after some time. So you may be practicing like same with this thing, that we may be practicing devotion for years and years to come, but if we're not vigilant on straightening that path, like razor's edge, if you're not careful when you're shaving, which I need to do, blood will flow. So non-devotees, it's if there's enough threat to myself, then I would give it up. And I looked up an example of, if you want to see the level of good quality, back to Subhadra Prabhu's point, you have to see in a time of crisis. And where do you think, in the Bhāgavatam, there's one section that Prabhupada speaks about this heavily on. Does anybody want to guess? Where does Prabhupada say when good qualities come out, or in this case, bad qualities come out when there's stresses? Exactly. Extra halwa for Phil. So Vasudev and Kamsa, Prabhupada speaks about this in the Krishna book, that a great person, if when in difficult circumstances, they maintain their good qualities. But if they're put into bad circumstances, persons will be cruel and even harm their family members. In the example of Kamsa and Vasudev and Devaki, they're going through the marriage procession. Kamsa's personally driving the chariot and parading the new couple through the town. Akashvani the voice in the sky, the son of Devaki will be your killer. Immediately, not even a hesitation, takes the hair of his own sister and ready to chop and to slaughter her. Just by a little not gratifying my senses, immediately let us kill. So this is very telling for us to develop good qualities is, now, you don't tell you, we can speak all we want, like in very comfortable times. We can say, oh, these are the good qualities of a Vaishnava. But only when you're going through your most difficult time do we know how many good qualities we have. You have something to prove? Advancement of a devotee is the ability for him to tolerate provoking situations. Yeah, in the Krishna book, right? So this is the standard of a Vaishnava. Like Vaishnava K, like Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, who is a Vaishnava? This is a Vaishnava. Is no, if just because someone doesn't stand up, you cause all these circumstances. I was hearing His Holiness Gaur Krishna Maharaj, who passed away, I think, in 2015. He was giving a class, and one temple president had come up to him and said, this brahmachari is not paying obeisances to me. And he said, I don't consider it a personal issue, but it's just a matter of etiquette. And Gaur Krishna Maharaj said, yes, it is true. This brahmachari, he's a junior devotee, he's a new devotee. He should be paying obeisances. He said, but I find it more concerning that after 30 years of devotional service, you still want people to pay obeisances to you. He said, this is more concerning to me. So the Trinadapi Sunichena, Tarorapi Sahishtana, Amanina Manadena, Kirtaniya Sadahi, that we are more humble than a blade of grass, as tolerant as a tree, to think that all praise belongs to others, none belong to me. In this way that you can chant, this is the way you can chant constantly, like in the pastimes of Jayananda Prabhu, the Prabhupada disciple, uh, people would come to the temple and he would be the most senior devotee, and they would just think, and they would go and ask, who's organizing, managing this temple. They're like, oh, it's Jananda. Oh, I thought he was the cleaning guy, the trash guy. He was just doing all the menial services. But he was the most advanced. So much so that in every ISKCON calendar to this day, just from that menial service attitude, Srila Prabhupada said, you must have his name on the calendar. So he's the only person in Srila Prabhupada's, among Srila Prabhupada's disciples, that his disappearance day of Srila Jayananda Thakur, which is on, anybody know? Day before Nrsimha Chaturdasi. So very, very amazing. So, hmm? Day before Nrsimha Chaturdasi. That's his disappearance day, I believe. Yeah. So Daksha's son-in-law not saying hi, we are also taught of another lesson, which is how to deal with others. So we must, this is another thing that Lord Shiva is teaching here, is that our families are not our real shelter. I like to quote a great personality from the Śrimad Bhāgavatam, the 7th canto, Hiranyakashipur Uvacha, who says to the wives of Hiranyaksha that families are like sticks coming together on a river, and they come together, form for some time, and leave eventually. Same way, another example, same chapter, Hiranyakashipu gives another one. It's like travelers coming together and enjoying cold water together, but afterwards they leave. This is in the Bhagavatam. Hiranyakashipu was saying. Hiranyakashipu is actually a great philosopher. If you, I used to give a seminar. I gave a seminar at the manor called "How Not to Parent: The Hiranyakashipu Story," and that seminar, I put like 3 verses. This is all for new people. I put Dehinosmin yata dehe vasamsi jirnani yata vihaya, and then I put this verse by Hiranyakashipu saying about the body. About the body. And I said, can you guess which one's from the Bhagavad Gita? And then they'd all choose the one that Hiranyakashipu said. I'm like, this one's actually spoken by the best demon that ever lived. So, but why was Hiranyakashipu ultimately in folly? Another example of somebody who, just because their son didn't gratify their senses, immediately killed the son. why was he? He said at the end of the second of the and the Gita, Arjuna's conclusion is to surrender unto Krishna. Now, Hiranyakashipu's solution, he said, you're not the body, you're the soul. Actually, these things are. He said, the solution is we have to kill Vishnu. So, actually, it's that verse, the first time that Prahlad comes back to, what have you learned? The greatest thing. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu. If you were to just change that word Vishnu to Hiranyakashipu, Shravanam Kirtanam Hiranyakashipu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Vanda. If you were to just change Vishnu to Hiranyakashipu, nothing would have happened. Oh, keep going, my dear son. But just because he said Vishnu, okay, now he must go. Shanda Marka must teach him again. So a real shelter is Krishna. This is a very fine point. Now, the relationship is like the boss and the customer. Now, who's the real boss? Is our employer the boss, or is the customer the boss? By pleasing the customer, you serve the boss, right? But the ultimate employer is the boss. So this is kind of our relationship with our family members. You have to see who are you. It's okay to have it as a service, but who is your shelter? We take shelter of Krishna. We may serve our family members by Krishna Katha, by this, but our real shelter is under Krishna. And you can see that there's a reception, and I just wanted to make this point. This is my last point. I wanted to end a little early. Is the various receptions that you get. I'm kind of skipping forward in the pastime of Daksha and Sati, but you just compare the different receptions. When Sati comes to the palace of Daksha, what is the reception she is given? Cold. No respect, no words. Now I want to juxtapose that to another reception in the Bhāgavatam, that someone being received into a palace. Anyone want to guess? Sudama. Sudama's reception was actually so wonderful. Srila Prabhupada says in one lecture, there are no sannyasis in Golok Vrindavan. There's no austerities, there's no tapasvis. It's just all care, care. And I just want to read a little bit about Sudama. Lord Krishna seated his friend Sudama upon the bed. Then the Lord, who purifies the whole world, personally offered him various tokens of respect and washed his feet, O king, after which he sprinkled the water on his own head. He anointed him with divine fragrant sandalwood, aguru, and kumkum paste, and happily worshipped him with aromatic incense and a rays of lamp. After finally offering him betel nut and the gift of one cow, he welcomed him with pleasing words. And the goddess of fortune, who is Rukmini, is also offering him chamara while this is happening. And what is the relationship between Sudama and Krishna? They were childhood friends. They went to the same Gurukul. What is the relationship between Sati and Daksha? He's his daughter. How much better the reception must be between actual family members versus Sudama and Krishna, who are just like godbrothers almost, who went there. You have actual family members. So this is kind of the understanding as a Vaishnav reception. Srila Prabhupada says this actually many times, how to receive people in your homes, how to receive people at the temple. This is a very almost forgotten art of how to respect others. If you just look at Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Gopakumar, he welcomed Krishna with open arms. And Sudama, and the best thing about Sudama, he didn't come empty-handed. It is both on the part of the guest and is both on the part of the receiver. What did Sudama bring? Chipped rice. He brought a little poha. And Krishna said, you brought something for me, I know. Give me some of this poha. And he eats one. And then Rukmini is like, stop. Just by eating this one mouthful, that's enough to give him as many riches as he wants. and Sudama spends one night with Krishna. And actually, Krishna except this cow that was given. Krishna doesn't give him any gift, but when he gets home, what does he see? He sees his hut. He's like, "Where's my hut? Where's my hut? I just see this big palace that's over here." He says, just by this. So I would like to bring up uh, this evidence. This is Canto 4, Chapter 22, Text 10, Purport. In India, the custom is that even an ordinary person is offered a glass of water if he suddenly visits and cannot offer him foodstuff. If there is no water, then one can offer a sitting place, even if it is on straw mats. And if one has no straw mat, he can immediately cleanse the ground and ask the guest to sit there. Supposing that a householder cannot even do that, then with folded hands, he can simply receive the guest, saying welcome. And if he cannot even do that, then he should feel very sorry for his poor condition and shed tears and simply offer obeisances with his whole family, wife, and children. So, this is proper respect. When someone comes to your house, then you offer them water, you offer them sitting place, you offer them sweet words like Krishna offered. What is the sweet words that Krishna offered Sudama? Anybody remember? Anybody remember the sweet words? They're just saying stories of their previous pastimes together. You remember when, like, when you get along with like some devotees who have left the ashram, when I meet them again, like, do you remember when we did this? When we served the guru together. You remember on Harinam that guy, crazy guy came and and did all these things. So these kind of sweet words are not actually prajalpa. It is how to receive the guests by sweet words. Now, we live in the temple, which this does not a disqualifier just because we don't live in a house. We don't have to receive people. Actually, we have to receive the most amount of people. I'm quoting there's a wonderful talk by His Holiness Radhana Maharaj where he's speaking about guests in the temple. And I would just like to quote something from there. I wrote a few things down. And this is His Holiness Radhana Maharaj speaking. Guest is considered to be someone who is sent by Krishna. When guests come to our temple, Sri Sri Radha Gopinath, well, Radha Govinda temple in our circumstance, it's Prabhupada's temple. And every single devotee who has faith in Prabhupada, we are the caretakers of this temple. Not only the department of guest reception, but everyone should be eager and anxious to receive any guest that walks into the temple doors in such a way that they feel Prabhupada's love for Krishna. No one should walk in these doors without feeling Prabhupada's love for Krishna and Srila Prabhupada's love for them. And how will they feel that? Through us, through the way we treat them, through the way we speak to them, through how we respect and honor them, how we speak. We are the vessels. We are all representatives. They are coming to Sri Sri Radha Gopinath's personal service. As we are the servants, if a rich person has a guest and the butler or maid or the servant of the house mistreats them, they can be cast away. So it is everyone's duty. Any guest that comes from India, from abroad, rich, poor, we should give them, whether we have a lot or little. That is not important. It is a spirit of affection, the spirit of respect, the spirit of servitude. So this is an amazing lesson that we can learn from this pastime of Shiva, Sati, and Daksha, that how the almost disrespect that Daksha shows when inviting Sati. There's two types of people you can learn from. You can learn from people what to do, and you can learn from people what not to do. And Shukadeva Goswami uses both of these examples. You can learn from great devotees like Gajendra. You can learn from great devotees like Prahlad. You can learn from great devotees like Parikshit. And you can learn from people like Hiranyakashipu. You can learn from people like Daksha. You can learn from people like Ajamil, who's a devotee, not is playing straddling both parties there. You can learn from them also about what action not to do. So in this way, by studying this pastime of Daksha, we can see that it's very practical, and how in this temple we are, as is one as Radha Maharaj is saying, is that everybody who comes in is actually they're dear devotees of Krishna, but they're coming here to make that relationship strong again. And it is up to us as kind of living in the temple, caretakers of the temple. Every single person who comes to the door must be given so much care and so much respect, so that they may feel comfortable in the temple. I remember, like, you can all think about the first time you came to the temple. If someone, when you came to the temple, if someone was screaming and like yelling at you, and not, and if you asked for water, oh, get your own water, it's over there, but if someone treated you like that, how long would it take for you to, like, okay, these guys don't really care about me? For me, I can speak for myself. If someone, I was such a fragile little dumpling. I was so fragile that if somebody would have said something even a little bit aggravating to me, I would have left and never come back. But just because of the tender care that the devotees took care of me, and then so they nurtured me like a bhakti lata, like a seed, and you carefully grow it, then actually, yeah, I can have some level of devotional service. Now, same thing we must offer to. It's like each one teach one. Once you learn a little bit, you share with others. Not that as the person who lets you in the door, you close the door behind it also. So when people come to the temple, especially Sunday feast and things, we must always be this guest reception is actually very, very important, and that's something you can learn from this pastime of Daksha and Sati and Lord Shiva. So I'll read the translation again. One should not go to now. This is now this when you have that mindset, this verse actually opens up in a different way. I'm just looking at it. One should not go to anyone's house, even on the consideration of him being a relative or friend, when the man is disturbed in his mind and looks upon the guest with raised eyebrows and angry eyes. So these are the Sunday feast. Don't have raised eyebrows and angry eyes. So thank you very much. Is there anything, any question, comments, or correction that may further the conversation? Nothing? Yes, not to Prabhu. Because you guys keep taking so good care of me that it's hard. You guys can't make me leave. Vaisheshpur gives a good point on this. He said that every moment, every day when we wake up, we must ask, who actually let us in here? Who let us in here? He was sitting on the steps of by Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi, and he's saying that who where, and he sees so many people flooding into Prabhupada's Samadhi, and he asked his godbrother where they're coming from, and his godbrother said they're all coming from Prabhupada's pen. They're coming from Srila Prabhupada's pen. And he said that when we offer our obeisances to the deities, we say the pranam mantra of the spiritual master. And why do we say so Godbrother was asking him that we should say the pranam mantra of the deities. And Vaishesha Prabhu responded, he said, we say the pranam mantra of the spiritual master to just remind ourselves who led us in here, under whose authority we are in this temple. And Krishna actually likes this system. Krishna, when he says tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanina satarshina, he is giving the way that he prefers us to connect to him. It's not the way that we prefer to connect with him, because it is not a society of me consciousness, it's a society of Krishna consciousness. If we reflect on the way that Krishna wants us to relate with him, That is the way through Guru. The Guru offers to his spiritual master, and he offers to his spiritual master, and so on and so forth. That is the way that Krishna likes it. So yeah, so when we come in front of the spirit, that's why the first thing in the morning, what do we sing? Sri Charanarvindam. Because Krishna likes to hear about his devotees also. More than he likes to hear about himself, he likes to hear about his devotees. He would even chant the names of his devotees. Anybody know a reference where Krishna chants the name of his devotees? Yes? Gopi, Gopi, Gopi. I was thinking of one other circumstance. When the cows were coming home, when he would call, he would just chant. He would call their names. Nasimha Mukhi, this Mudanga Mukhi. And then he would have beads. It's described. He would have beads where he would count each section of cows. This is Krishna. So he would chant the names of the cows, and the cows would be so ecstatic to hear the Krishna calling them. So that's one way he's chanting the names of his devotees as well. Yes. Do you have anything to say, Phil Prabhu? Mm. So Prabhupada says in one place that guru means cutting. They can cut. So by doing the threefold checks and balances, I call them, that guru, sadhu, and shastra. If you see, the more you read shastra or hear shastra, the more you associate with the spiritual master, the more you associate with senior devotees that are senior to yourself, then actually these weeds become quite vigilant, but quite apparent. Actually, you know exactly where you're at. Like I was hearing a class. When I cook Rajbog, I listened to this class by Amarendra Prabhu about Bhishma Dev. He's making a good point. He said that many people prefer to serve the deity more than they prefer to serve the Vaishnavas. And then he's like, why is that? He said, because when you do anything to the deity will never respond. Like if you prick the deity's head or something, they'll never say ow. But immediately, if you do something to a Vaishnava, they'll immediately give you a feedback. They'll be like, this is what you did wrong, and that's actually meant to be purifying. Fault finding in our nature is very bad. We're not supposed to find faults with other devotees, but how does a Vaishnava understand when people are finding fault with him? Do you know this? He says, I live to be corrected. But a mature Vaishnava, when someone's finding fault with him, he says, oh, this person is actually very dear to me because he's finding fault with me and he's revealing anarthas that I wasn't even aware of. So I pay obeisances to such fault finders, and I keep them close. I keep them close. So this is how a mature Vaishnava kind of looks at people, and if they, but immature person, if immediately when someone tries to correct them about something, oh Prabhu, how dare you even say anything? You know who I am? I've been in Krishna consciousness for like 5 minutes, so I've chanted all my rounds today. How dare you tell me anything? But when someone tells you something, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for the feedback, and keep moving. Anybody else have any other thoughts, comments, reflections? Yeah, yeah, Hmm. Yeah, you need someone in your life to humble you. You know, I think we all have someone in our life to humble. Radha Maharaj was asked on the Vyasa and Radha Gopinath, um, Guru Maharaj, how do I know how much spiritual progress I'm making? And then he said, ask your wife. He said, your wife knows exactly who you are. He said, in front of me, you can do so many things, but your wife knows exactly who you are. So same thing for brahmacharis. I mean, your ashram mates know exactly who you are. So, yeah, thank you for the point. Anything else before we wrap up? Okay. Grantaraj Śrimad Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Itai Gaur Premanande. Boo. Take me off the live stream.